Let me start by saying this is really important, and I think it's a bold move for Halifax Council. Mr. Mayor, I think it's a bold move for your council to have this conversation in public. Understand colonialism, and within that we need to also understand slavery, the fact that slavery existed in Canada, in Nova Scotia, the fact that slavery was a part of our economy in this province is a little known fact in this country, and we need to change that. So if you take nothing from this presentation today, please take knowledge of the impact of racism. If we think about, and looking specifically at anti-Black racism, and we think about Black Canadians, African Canadians as survivors of racism, because to get out of bed every day and to keep doing what you're doing every day, despite all of the stress that comes from living while Black in this country, in this city, then you're surviving. You're surviving. We need the recognition of the trauma of racism. And I think, heard some of you say earlier, the trauma of racism, recognizing that, has become more clear through the Wortley report that was done for the Human Rights Commission on street checks. And more recently, I would say, the trauma has become more visible through the middle of the day killing of George Floyd by a police officer. And to hear young Black Haligonians say, you know, that happened to me. I was held in the same hold. To hear a young Black man say that and to relive his trauma through the witnessing of what happened. And that's part of what's happening. And I think
East Preston, Nova Scotia, one of Canada's oldest Black Indigenous communities, home to roughly 2,000 people, and the number 7 highway.
We are licensed for 85 children. On average, I would say there's
term all lives matter, it can almost send me into a bit of a rage, quite honestly, because it's dismissing the reality. It's dismissing the need that's being spoken. When people have to take to the streets to talk about the fact that Black lives matter, means that, you know, we recognize, full stop, that those needs, those lives aren't being taken seriously. And when you have to push to be taken seriously, for someone to say, well, all lives matter, it means they don't understand it, willing to see it, and they're dismissing our reality. The Black lives matter, and someone says, well, all lives matter, don't they? It's like an erasure It's an erasure of the reality. It's an erasure of the trauma. It's an erasure of the impact of anti-Black racism. Mental health crisis. And maybe they fear police and you've got 3 or 4 police officers around them. Is that de-escalating? How do we ensure that those intervening know how to de-escalate?
Yeah, sure. It's Canada is my country. I'm Canadian citizen. I'm paying tax. I'm Canadian citizen. Yeah, so I'm retired from CN. Sorry? I'm retired from the government. So what?